Welcome, 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 everyone. Thank you for joining me. If you're watching it live, I appreciate it. If you're not watching it live and you're watching it on the YouTube channel, I appreciate you coming out and you watching it. We are going to talk about today time, the art of time, the concept of time, and our timing for things in our life. I'm your host, AP, and we're going to get into it right now. Okay? When we think about the concept of time, we think of it relative to an event or relative to some things that we need to take care of. The idea of time has been taught to us since we were young, and that idea has been fostered in us to have time management if we have issues with being on time with things or to get things done, but also for other things to occur in our lives. But that, in essence, is not just the idea of time, because the concept of time has a definition for it, but it also has a deeper meaning to what we were taught and what we assume to know what that idea of time really is. So we're going to get into first about the definition of time, and then how we can use that time and what does the right timing in our lives for certain things to occur and how we can adapt and use that in our lives. Okay, so let's start with the definition of time. Okay, time is the indefinite continued progress of existence and events in the past, the present, and the future regarded as a whole. I'll say that again. Time is the indefinite continued progress of existence and events in the past, the present, and the future regarded as a whole. Okay? When we think of time, we think about the beginning of time. We think about, if you've studied physics, they talk about the Big Bang. And after the Big Bang, there was a thing called the Planck era. In the Planck era, there was a physicist at that time that went back and discovered a period of time after the Big Bang, or before the Big Bang, of what occurred and how our universe came to be. All that is relative to energy, okay? And the energy that it took to create our universe and what transponded from that event, okay? That is a concept of time because it's a measurement of events that occurred, okay? When we think of that time and we think of a deeper meaning of the time that we have in our lives, we as humans, we will assume that we have all the time in the world to do the things that we want to do. But in essence, the time is slipping from us. Time is one thing that no one holds. It is one thing that no one can grasp on. It is one thing that everybody cannot master. Time is an ever-evolving thing that we ourselves are adjusting and adapting to daily. The reason being is because of our lives. We have the time to go to work. We have the time to sleep. We have the time to eat. We have the time to take care of our children. We have a time to take our kids to their various events. We have different time for different things. Or just be social, hang out, talk to our significant other, talk to our friends, talk to relatives, spend time with them. Those are concepts and events that capture a specific moment in time. Now, the reason why I want to talk about time today is how we can make better use of our time, but in essence, the timing that occurs in our life for things to happen, okay? We all know we're gifted. We're gifted the opportunity to have time on earth. There's a lot of people that didn't get a chance to be gifted with that time. But while we have that time on earth, what we do and how we utilize that is very important. We can use time to be our benefit, and it can also be our biggest enemy when it comes to time. Now, for the enemy part, we can lag and push things off or make things not appear that we just don't have time for things or have time for the people that we want to hold dear to us or to take care of responsibilities and things like that. And that time will slip away from us. We will sit down and we'll say, oh, I'll get to it in a second. And time is passing through us. Now we live in a social media age, and you can look at yourself and say, oh, I'll do it in 10 minutes. And the first thing you'll do is you pick up your phone and you'll start just blindly scrolling through social media and other things on your phone, maybe some text messages, maybe a call log, or some things that you missed. And with that, time is slipping away from you. So the things that you were slated to do and the things that you wanted to take care of, that time and that event are passing you by. It's what we call burning daylight. I'm burning daylight for taking care of the things that I need to take care of. And with that, I need to adjust what I'm doing and figure out what I need to do in order to get the things that I need to take care of done. Now, if I were to sit back, well, let me take that back. If we all look at our lives and we look at the amount of time we have wasted, and when we look at the time that it took for us to make a good, positive first impression on anything, we will look at that as wasted, invaluable time. Meaning, I don't have the opportunity, or I can waste the time that's given to me to make a good first impression of myself. And if I'm not making a good first impression of myself, that doesn't mean that you're being a false part of yourself or a false version of yourself. That just means the time, the effort that's going into you doing that will slip away from you. And once you've already had that bad interaction for the first episode of time, it will be hard to make that up, because the person that is receiving that or accepting that version of you, they have this other type of concept of you, and your character is also being questioned. Okay? So that's a very important thing for us to realize and understand when it comes to the access and the usage of time. The positive part about that is we have time where we can make the most of everything that we hold dear to us. We can make the time to go to school. We make the time to go to work. We make the time to be a better person. We make the time to take time for ourselves. Because the knowledge of self in regards to time is paramount. If I know that I am a specific person and I've lived a specific life and I don't like the way my life is going, I have learned through the time and the events in my past that are stagnating me in the present, and it can't predict the type of future that I'm going to have. Those are things that I innately control. I can control what I do and how I make use of the time that I have, because I can't go back in the past and do something and correct it when it comes to certain things or certain events in my life. I just use the example of making a good first impression. You can think about it. The first time you meet someone that you want to talk to, or the first time you met your friend, or the first time that you're going in for a job interview, or the first time that you actually get on the phone and you're talking and trying to handle business, that initial version and time that you're using in that moment will predicate a bunch of things that can happen for you that can be positive or negative for you. But knowing that version of yourself and having that self-knowledge of who you are will help you with your use of time. So let's talk about timing. Timing in of itself is very important. We can have the right time but be in the wrong place in the wrong situation. We could be the right person for a job, but it could be the wrong time to acquire that job. We could be the right person to be with someone, but that person might not be the right person to be with us, but it also might not be the right situation for us. Everything that revolves around time are around events and situations. And if those situations do not bring out the best in us or allow us to perform at our best, at our most pivotal moments, that time will slip away from us, and then we won't have the necessary things that we need to progress and to be a better person, a better version, or even acquire the things that we really want and we desire in life. Those things we desire to be happy, have peace, have love, have security. Those things take time, but they also take effort. And the effort that you pour into getting that time and utilizing that time is very important, because when you get to that segment and that event of the timing part, it will magnify what you're doing. Now, Do you give up on yourself when things don't go right the first time? No. Do you give up on yourself when it doesn't go right the second time? No. If you're aligning yourself and you want the right time and the proper channels for it to work out for you, you're going to make every bit of time work for you because of effort and your focus and your discipline in order to find out what I need to do to align what I'm doing in this present time that's going to predicate my future to be a success and not a failure. I had a conversation with someone a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about timing. The gentleman asked me, so I'm glad that I have this time to speak with you. I don't know what it is that brought you along to talk to me, but I can dig this. I like this. And I said, you know what? There's a reason we all meet each other. Our paths cross. When our paths are going to cross for a certain reason, it can be because we can either be learning something from them or we can be going through an experience with them. Everyone that we meet, that we cross paths with, is either going to be a lesson or a gift. And sometimes those hard life lessons are gifts because we can learn from that event, or we can learn from that knowing that person that's going to help us propel us to either know more about ourselves, know more about situations, how to adjust to certain events, how to adapt to when things are not going right, or how to garner and how we should conduct ourselves for the future. Everything is future based. We live in the present based off our past to have a better future. And that is very important for us to remember when we get in those time frames of lack of understanding. So there are 10 concepts and 10 keys that will attribute to time. And it will also attribute to how we handle things in a situation. Okay? So let's talk about the timing in relationships. Okay? Timing in relationships can be viewed as a personal feeling of whether or not now is an adequate time to be intimate and involved with someone. Every one of us decides on adequacy of timing more or less consciously. We judge if it's a right time based on different factors that are unique to us. That is very important. We're going to base that based on our feelings and our emotions. Everything is all encompassing who we are and that knowledge of ourselves and the basic use of the timing that we have. Because there's no better time than right now to do the things that you need to do, because I can set forth a goal for myself, but if I don't take the proper time in this moment to make myself a better version of myself, and I just placate and I have the idea that nothing's wrong, everything's fine, and I don't situate and set myself up for success for the future, I'm wasting time. That time's going to pass. When I get the right time, I'm not going to be prepared for it. There's going to be situations that's going to come up for us in our personal life or even in our professional life where we won't be able to seize the opportunity that we have based on the time we either waste or we have focused on and put energy into making ourselves a better version of ourselves for the future. Now, those 10 keys, I'm going to start with the first one. It's maturity. In the 10 different aspects of timing, maturity is a big one. I know right now at my age, in this stage of my life right now, me being at 25 to 30, I was not mentally mature or emotionally mature to be able to handle some of the things that I'm handling now. There's an old saying that God will not give you more than you can handle. And also, I wouldn't be able to carry the weight or bear the weight of the things that I'm responsible for based on my use and adequate version of that time that I've wasted. If I'm preparing myself for a different life, for a different future, that time I'm spending building and acquiring different things that's going to give me a better sense of myself when it comes to that event or the future comes. I have a better use of time. I have a better use of how I speak. I know when to speak. I know when to think. I know how to act, and I know when to move. Those things are very important because we can do things at the wrong time, but the right reason, but it won't yield us a positive result. And then when we do that, we get frustrated with ourselves. And then the idea that we get frustrated with ourselves, we get down on ourselves in that time because we haven't made proper use or we have a better understanding of this concept of time. Because like I said before, time is something that we all want more of, but it slips away from us. No one can have a master of time or control of the things that we have. Life goals is number two. Life goals is number two about timing. I can set forth that I want to do things in the next 5 years. If I'm not taking out the time or I'm not building things in that moment, in the present, in order for the future to take place in the manner that I wish that I wanted to, there's no way that they can be accomplished. My dreams are just going to be a wish because I haven't put any effort or my attitude isn't skewed in order to have the time that I have in this present moment to benefit me in the future. And then I'm going to struggle. Number three is prior relationship experience. And when I say relationship, it can be not just a physical relationship. It can be an emotional relationship. It can be a relationship with a family member. It can be a relationship with a friend. Because when we lose sight of the idea of the time that we have with people, we can be in a situation where things don't go right, something is said wrong, we let time pass, and I just dropped the ball of making something right with that person. I didn't make amends with someone because of my own personal feelings and my own attitude because I felt I was wronged in some way. And I'm sure that person felt the same way in that situation. But I need to take the proper time and the proper steps in order to move forward with that time so I can rebuild this thing that I broke or someone else broke within me. Because we don't have that communication in the manner that which we do, that we may have had in the past or we were building to have. Okay? Number four is the vision of the future. The vision of the future. When someone says, let's go back, someone says, when you were young, said, what's your New Year's resolution? And you go ahead and you say, I'm going to make this goal. I want to get straight A's in school and things like that. Right? If I'm not taking the time and I'm not putting the effort into getting those straight A's, I'm not going to get them. If I don't take the time and put the effort in and knowing more about my craft, I'm not going to do it. People would think that professional athletes just go out there and they're just gifted athletes and they just get it done. And people are so amazed when they see a game or in the case of football, they see the end result. But the amount of time that's spent on their craft is paramount to what they do because it's important. The amount of time it took for a doctor to become a doctor is important because there's a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of energy that goes into being a doctor or a lawyer or even a parent. In order to be a parent, there's no perfect parent. There's just people who strive their best every day to be in a better position so that they can be a great parent for their children. But they're going to pour in the effort and in their time for the future for it to have a greater reward. So when that comes, they have success, and that success could mean I have a lasting relationship with my child, that my child can come to me in the darkest moments, or not even in the darkest moments, but we have this relationship with our child, and it's great. Okay? I need to have an openness to personal growth. My openness to personal growth is me taking a deep dive and look at myself. I may have blew off a bunch of time in the past and I haven't spent time in the present to fix anything. And all I want to do is sit here and say, well, it's that person's fault. Well, if this would have happened for me, I would have been able to do this. Well, I can't catch a break, or I wasted all this time, or I put a bunch of time and effort into this and it didn't work out. But that's part of your process. Everybody's process is not going to be the same. The time for everyone to grow and to mature is not the same. Men and women mature at different stages. Women mature faster than men based on their DNA and their genetic makeup. And that's a fact. That is a fact. Women go through puberty before men. Men mature slower than women based on our genetic makeup and our DNA and the way we are wired. Okay? That is very important for us to keep and to hold dear and for us to understand. Experience is the next one. Experience and everything that we've done and everything we have gone through will teach us about the concept of time and timing. I can have a great relationship with someone, or I can have no relationship with someone. And in the future, I will want something to mature from that. And every experience that I have with someone, if it yields the same results, there's something wrong with me. I haven't taken time to know or understand about this time that I have right now in the present to make the things right or crucial for my future. And that experience is going to determine my future goals, my dreams, my aspirations, or just how I want to live. Someone says they want peace in their life. How are you going to go about and get peace in your life if you're still doing the same things that you're doing today that you were doing in the past? That's going to take some deep digging within yourself in order to fix that, in order to be better in the future in regards to time. Now, that's gonna be some self-reflection, and there's going to be some things about you that you might not like, but that's a part of this process. If I can first claim it, and I can admit it, and I can accept it, then I can move forward. I can be a better version of myself if I do the things that I'm doing in the present. And that's something that we all want. Age is another thing. I'm 47 years old right now. I can't say at 37 that I can foresee anything that I'm doing right now. I would have never thought I would be hosting a podcast. I never had the idea that I would be in a position that I am to impact other people with my words or more of my actions because of my use of time. Now, in the past, I took a lot of time to work on myself, and I used a lot of my experiences that I went through in order to get myself in this position. But I know in the next 5 years, I would like to be in a different space. I would like to be in a different realm. I would like what I'm doing now to be broadcasted throughout different realms. That doesn't mean I want to sit here and have a broadcast with 1 million people and everything. I'm not saying that. The idea is I want to reach people where people aren't being reached. I want people to know that there are other people that are struggling with the same things that they are. They may not realize that, but everyone has a quiet struggle. Some of them have multiple, but it's based on the time and the experience that they had and the use of the time that they had and how they're using that for the future. I have to be emotionally available to the changes of myself. I also have to be emotionally available to the timing of someone else. In order to have the proper time to build a friendship with someone, that's being emotionally available to them. Because if a friend calls you right now and they say that they're anxious about something and they say, I just need someone to talk to, or I have this strong thing that I'm dealing with and I don't know what to do. And you sit there and you're listening to them and you're giving them your listening ear and they're just dumping everything that they're going through at that moment in time, in that space, in that era. What you're doing is you are not just taking on that weight or the brunt of what they're saying is you're able to logically and reasonably come up with the idea or the proper words in the right manner for the right reason to help your friend out. Let's say it's a relationship. Let's say you guys just had an argument or a disagreement or some sort of things where the two of you aren't seeing eye to eye and your communication is not on par. If I'm not emotionally available to the person that I'm with, I'm going to take the time to do negative things. I'm going to, in essence, either argue or I'm going to think the worst of them, or I'm going to think that this situation that we're in is either a make or break. We give up too easy on things that we should pour things into. Moreover, we put too much energy into things that we should let go. And those things that we should let go, we have red flags or things that pop up that just don't agree with the things that we believe in, the things that we were shown, and some things that we just don't think is the best thing for us. Positively. Everyone lives in a bubble that exists inside of a box. Now, what I mean by that is everyone has a boundary bubble of where they're safe. The box where the bubble exists in is the world you live. Now, we want to think about the world we live in right now. Each person on this earth has a bubble, whether they want to agree with it, listen to it, understand it, or not. I myself have a bubble of what I'm comfortable with, what I'm learning to get comfortable with, what I will accept, what I will learn to grow with, and how I'm going to garner everything that comes to me in the manner in which I need to deal with. If I'm not built and I don't have the experience from my past to garner the things that I'm doing right now, when it's time for me to check my emotions and my feelings, when things come up, I'm not going to be prepared. I didn't take the proper time to do those things. I didn't take the proper time to learn myself. And that's something that we all have struggled, myself included, in relationships. And it can be a physical relationship, it can be a marriage, or it can be a friendship. Because the first time or the first sign that things don't go right, a lot of us, what we do is we fall back on the things that we used to do. And the things that we used to do is not positive or progressive. The idea is to keep moving forward. As I mentioned in an early show about being complacent and in the comfort zone. If I sit in this space and I'm in this time not utilizing the time to either know, understand, and grow, I'm wasting that valuable thing that I have no control over and that I haven't mastered, which is time. Okay? And in love versus infatuation, I need to know about the love aspect and what is infatuation. I can be infatuated with an idea, I can be infatuated with a concept, or I can be infatuated with a person or a thing. But if I love that thing, my effort and my energy are going to look completely different based on the amount of time that I'm utilizing and I'm spending in that thing. Now, some people love their hobby. Some people love to sing. Some people love to dance. Some people love to act. Some people love to draw. Some people love to play sports. You are centered and focused and disciplined in utilizing the amount of time, the right amount of time, and sometimes you will work overtime to get your desired result. The same thing with work. I want to get a promotion. What do I have to do to get a promotion? It may require me to go to school. It may require me to get a certification. It may require me to have a master level or a doctorate level of experience. What that will do is I'm putting the time in so that the future looks different than it does right now. And no one wants to stay complacent. And if you do want to stay complacent or you are complacent right now, that just means you haven't utilized the valuable time that you have right now to do something about your situation. Everyone has 24 hours in a day to make the most of their day. But more importantly, how they're going to fix what's wrong within that time to have a better desired result for the future. Okay? Now, the next thing will be my readiness. How I'm prepared. How prepared am I to face the things that I need to face? How prepared am I to go through the things that I need to? How prepared am I to face a letdown? How prepared am I to face a reward or success? We don't give ourselves the opportunity to learn from experience. We also don't give ourselves the opportunity to be emotionally stable or emotionally ready for certain things that are going to occur in our lives. I'm someone that I can sit and say, I have a feeling something's going to happen. It could be good or bad. Now, what I'm doing with that is I'm nesting and putting things in buckets because I want to be prepared for something or whatever that something is that's coming. No matter if I'm prepared for it or no matter if I'm waiting for it. But in that, I have to utilize and use the right amount of time and effort with that so that when that event comes, whatever it may be, good or bad, I'm ready for it. I can emotionally handle it. I can know whether it's going to benefit me or not benefit me. And if it doesn't benefit me, I'm going to learn from that. So that when the next time a situation comes, I can better have use of my time in that situation. But that's something that we haven't mastered because we can't master time. We can master what we do in that time. Okay? Let's talk about the timing in the relationships that we have. We all have been in relationships where we felt like I'm ready to be with someone, or I'm ready to move forward with my life, or I'm ready to move on from this job. But if I haven't put the right time and the right effort into any of those things, I'm going to fall on my face. Or, as I like to say, I'm going to get hit in the face with a brick because it's going to sting. It's going to hurt. I'm not going to be ready. I'm going to be disappointed. I'm going to see all the negative things that I really wasn't prepared for that's along this process because everybody's success is not a straight line. There are some people whose success is a straight line, but it doesn't mean it always stays straight. Some people go through peaks and valleys, and some people go through more peaks and valleys because there's a greater purpose for you in what you're doing. And you're supposed to go through those peaks and valleys and utilize the time that you have to make it out of what you were in order for you to have what it is that you really need. Okay? I like to use this term, and I've used this term earlier today when I was on the phone. The only two things that rise fastest to the top are cream and bastards. And the reason why I say that is sometimes things are given to people and they're not prepared for it. Sometimes people can want things so bad and they can want to be in a place so bad and they can think that if I only get this thing, I will be happy. But they haven't prepared, or they haven't done their research, or they haven't put the effort into doing and knowing the entirety of what they were asking for. Because there's a pro and con to everything we ask for. There's a pro and con to being a better parent, to being a better worker, to having a better relationship of any kind. It takes time and effort for us to pour into that because we have to build from somewhere. We have to have a strong foundation of things when it comes to having what it is we want. And if we don't have that and we're not doing those things, we're going to fail. We're going to fall flat on our face like I just said. And then when we do that, we have no one to blame but ourselves because we haven't allowed ourselves the right amount of time to learn from what we need to learn. I said a few moments ago, people come in our lives for different reasons. People will come into our lives for a season. People will come into our lives to teach us a lesson. People will come into our lives to magnify the things that we're doing. People will come into our lives to show us things to get us to another level. Everything's going to have its proper place and time in the way that it's supposed to. Next 5 years, I can say I want to be a leader in some magnitude. If I'm not doing the things that I need to, because there's certain things, certain benchmarks I need to hit and I need to get to in order to have that, then I'm just placating myself. I'm fooling myself and I'm not allowing myself the proper time and the proper idea that I'm going to be in a situation. Now, let's say it's gifted to me, or let's say it's given to me, and I didn't earn it in a proper way because I didn't make proper use of my time. It's going to show. If someone is not readily mature for certain things, it's going to show. If someone's not readily mature or emotionally available to be in a relationship with anybody, it's going to show. If someone is not the proper friend that you want them to be, it's going to show. All these things throughout time is going to reveal itself because that's one thing that we haven't mastered. I'm going to continue to say that. We haven't mastered this thing, that one thing that we cannot control. Do we learn how to control that? No. We utilize the time that we have to make better use of that time, and in a proper timing to make the proper move when it's at the right time for the right reason in the right moment. We become successful because we have that knowledge of self. We've took that time to know ourselves, and we prepared ourselves, and we are ready for things to take place in the future. Those are the things that we want. Those are the places that we need to be. And those are the things that we will acquire to, because if anyone is just happy with where they are in its present state of time, they're good. I don't want nothing else more than what I got. I don't want to be nowhere else but where I am. I'm good with what I got, because 95% of the people that you work with, they're happy with where they are because this is the best they're going to do. And the reason why they feel this is the best they're going to do is because they haven't made proper use of the time that they have for themselves. And in that proper time that they have for themselves, they don't have the necessary grit, or they've made it, or they've mastered, because coming from where they've come from, having what they have is okay with them. And that's all right with them. That's okay for them. It may not be okay for you. You cannot want something more for someone else. You may see them in a better light, but if they don't want it for themselves because they haven't put the proper time and the effort into making themselves or putting themselves in a different category to achieve certain things, then that's on them. Now, if I'm wanting something more for you, and I'm telling you to utilize your time or make better use of your time so you can have certain things, so you can be in a better spot, so you can be a better person for yourself, or your relationships, your friendships, your significant other friendships, or your marriage can magnify and grow. If I haven't put the time and the effort into it, it's going to fail, as I said. And I don't want to say it as it's a bad thing. It's just an honest thing. See, a lot of us aren't honest with the time that we have. A lot of us think that we have all the time in the world when we don't. We don't have all the time in the world to do anything. We just have to make better use of the time that we have, and then in that time that we have, become better versions and also become better people. If we can do that, then in that time, when we have the proper timing, it will show. I can want a better job. I can want a better house. I can want a better living condition. I can want a better relationship. I can want everything in the world, but if I don't put the effort and time into what I need to in a proper way, I won't achieve those things. I have only myself to blame. I can't blame my past. I'm supposed to learn from my past. And from learning from my past, that's how I'm going to make better use of my time right now. If I have the opportunity to do something, I need to seize it. I need to seize this opportunity, because I may not get another chance to do that. I may not get another chance to say I'm sorry to someone. I may not get another chance to say I love someone. I may not get another chance to say I appreciate someone. So I need to make better use of the time that I have right now to either mend fences or to build relationships. And that's building a bridge so that I have a connection. Connections and relationships are important in our lives. We are social people. There's people who like to isolate. I'm one of them. I like to be alone. I like to be by myself at times, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we are sociable people. We are built to utilize and to capitalize on a relationship based on the foundation of a relationship we have with someone else. And that comes from time and effort. But if we have that time and effort that we're supposed to have and we utilize it, we will have a better result in the end. I know you're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, why does he keep saying the same thing? I want you to understand why time is important. I want you to understand the time that you have right now is very important. You don't have the time that you think you have in order to get the things that you need, or to be the place you need to be in, or to have the relationship that you want to have, or to be with the person that you want to be with. It's all going to take effort, and it's revolving around time. But you got to be committed to it. The first sign that everything doesn't go wrong, that doesn't mean I throw all my chips in, I put my cards away, I leave the poker table, that's it, I give up. You keep going. You don't give up on yourself. You learn about yourself through situations. You learn about yourself when it comes to your age, because your age is going to naturally have you mature. But if I'm not mentally or emotionally mature about certain things, I am going to struggle when those pivotal moments in my life will come, or when it's time for me to meet someone and someone says something to me and I don't know the right thing or the proper way of handling or addressing that situation, I'm going to fail. And failing just means I disappointed myself with not responding or not being the person that I should be. Everyone is destined for greatness. And that greatness is going to come out based on how you make use of your time. Does everybody have this magical idea that they just have a silver spoon? Nobody has. A lot of people I know don't have silver spoons. They weren't born with it. They didn't even have a wooden spoon. They have a plastic spoon. And anybody that's eaten with a plastic spoon, you know, anything that has any weight, or if you scoop too hard, first thing it does is it breaks. And as soon as it breaks, you look at it, you probably say, oh shit, it broke. Now what am I supposed to do? Now either you're going to take the half that's broken and you're going to make use of it and you're going to use that half and still eat with it, or you're going to scrounge around and try to find something else that's going to get that desired goal, which is eating. Let's think about that. If I were just to let that spoon be and I were to push my food away, how do I eat? Am I going to then, in essence, eat with my hands? I'm not going to put my face in my plate and eat. I'm not going to do that. But what I'm trying to say is I'm going to find a way to get my desired result. My desired result is to finish my food. My desired result is to enjoy my food. I have broke my plastic spoon, so let me go find something that's a little bit more sturdier. I'm going to find something that's going to hold some weight. I'm going to find something that's going to help me the next time I get in a situation. But that's also knowing that next time I get in that situation, I may not want to use that particular utensil. I may want to use something a little stronger. Maybe something that's more forceful, because I have something that has to hold weight. I know some people are going to get that analogy, but in essence what I'm saying is when something doesn't go right for us, in that moment, in that time, we don't give up. We've utilized that time to learn and to grow and then to move forward with the things that we have. So the next time we get in that situation, we can better assess and address and handle that situation better than we did before. That is a sign of personal growth. That is a sign of knowing yourself, and that is also a sign of having that knowledge of myself, that anytime something happens, I can do it. I spent the time and the effort to be in this place. I spent the time and the effort to be in the position that I am. Doesn't mean that I'm happy with where I am. That just means I've already built a foundation, and I know what it takes from the past that's predicating my present, that's going to predict my future and get me to where I want to be. And everyone that's out there, they're going to look at it and they're going to say the same thing. I did it. I did it, and I came out of what I came from, and I'm a success. If you didn't have a good relationship with anybody, if your job is not treating you well, if things aren't going well in your family, and you have those dynamics and you're going to take and utilize time. Everybody has that. But what are you going to do with the time that you have to make yourself better and put yourself in a position where you can have success in yourself, for you to be a success? I posted a picture on the IG page, on the Black Male IG page, about one of my former co-workers, about reevaluating the idea of success. And the idea of success isn't for everyone. It's not going to be the same. My idea of success is not going to be what a wife, a girlfriend, a co-worker, a parent, a sibling, it's not going to be the same. Because I innately, based on the experiences that I've had in the past, It's going to predict my version of success for the future. That's why I just said 95% of the people that you work with, they're happy and content with where they are. When you speak to them, you can tell by the words that they use. You can tell by the actions that they have. You can also tell by where they are and how they present themselves. They are content with where they are because they probably have hit their milestone. They've probably had hit their Everest peak. They probably have. Does it mean that that stops for you? Does it mean that that means that you want more for them? Does that mean that you don't necessarily think that they're worthy of having anything? That's not for you to decide, because everybody's going to have their own time. Everybody's going to have their own time to understand and know where they need to be and where they would like to be. And since you were a little child, you had different stages and different steps to get you where you want. Now, you may not be where you want right now, but that doesn't mean you give up on yourself, because all the bad things are teaching you right now, or the negative experiences that are teaching you right now, or you're not being in this place that you want financially or personally, they're going to get you somewhere. You're building. Continue to build. Don't give up on yourself. Make use of your time. Be better with your time so that you can get that desired result in the end. That is perfect. That is nature, and that is in its natural essence of who we are as people. That knowledge of self, the use of time, and the proper use of the effort and the energy that I put into that time to have my desired results in the end. Okay? I'm going to say two more things. One of them, why is timing important in life? Most things are not going to happen by accident. Okay? They're going to happen by the product of effort. Most things do not happen by accident. They're going to happen as a product of effort. I said before, when you were young and you wanted to do, made a New Year's resolution. I made that New Year's resolution when I was a kid. That's why I use that. I want to get all A's the rest of the year. Okay? If I don't study and I don't take my studies serious, I'm not going to get it. I'm going to fail. And I only have myself to blame. If I want to get a better job and I'm just hoping that it comes to me, I'm going to fail. Reason being, I'm not preparing myself and putting myself in a situation where I can succeed. I'm not making proper use of my time. I'm letting time slip by. And that's not going to benefit me. So if I just sit back and wait for things to happen for me, because it's promised for me, I'm the next in line, and I just sit there and just think everything's just going to work out for me, I'm going to get passed by. Somebody that's making use of that time, better use of that time, they're going to pass me by. And then I'm going to get upset at myself and say, well, I thought that was promised to me. Well, that should have been promised to me. Well, that was supposed to be given to me. Well, why wasn't it given to you? Because when you had the opportunity and the time to make the most of your opportunity, you didn't do it. You didn't seize that opportunity. You didn't make it. Okay? And that is also when it comes to connecting with people at the right time for the right reason. Okay? I'm going to leave you with this last bit of thing. Okay? Timing is very powerful. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why timing is very powerful. Time is the most powerful source in the universe. Okay? Nobody controls it. Nobody can stop it. Okay? If you make choices that you make in your daily life, and is on a daily basis, that nobody can prevent the trajectory of time from benefiting you or placating you in the long run. I'm going to say that again, because I want you to get what I'm saying. Time is very powerful, okay? It is the most powerful force in the universe. Nobody controls it, and nobody can stop it. The only thing you can do is garner your choices to predict the trajectory of your future based on your past and your present. I'm going to leave you with that. Please make better use of your time. Pour the effort and the energy into the time that you have to get the things and the desired results that you want for the future. That's the show for today on time. I'm AP for the Black Male Podcast. You can see this show again as a recap on YouTube. I'm going to post it later. And as always, be good to yourself and be good to others. Peace.